So anyway, so yes, we don't want to talk at you tonight. I want this to be more of a conversation, but I will share some ideas, some things that have proven valuable and useful for me and many others. And again, I hope you have found some value in that as well. So at any point, just raise your hand, cut me off, whatever, and ask your question, make your comment. Again, I hope that this is a more of a conversation that you're able to take some value away from. So really quickly, it's hard for me to really explain really what I do and my passion and what I believe is my purpose, but I'll tell a little bit of my story. And so being born in that big metropolis of Dunn, North Carolina, grew up, fortunate to have both parents in the home. I could literally walk to both of my grandparents. I say that to say I grew up in a loving family, loving community. Was never concerned about who watched me, who kept me. I grew up in the church. By the time I graduated, both of my parents were in the ministry. And I went on to college really clueless about what I wanted to do, be, or become. Anybody relate to that? Probably, okay, all right, we got some. All right, make sure I'm in the right room. And really, finally graduated college, was fortunate to go right into a career in sales, had some early success. But have you ever got to the point where you're like, there's just got to be more to life than this?
Oh, yes.
And that's where I found myself, somewhere around the age 25, 26, not really frustrated, but just like something's off, right? And what it was my thinking, and we'll get into that. And so I'll never forget it. I was pacing back and forth across the front of a car dealership, Leith Raleigh in Raleigh, asking that question, Lord, what more is there? How many of you know that when the student is ready, the teacher appears?
Right. Yeah.
And so it wasn't long after that I found myself resting between the median of on I-4 in between Tampa, Florida, and Orlando, Florida, where I had fallen asleep at the wheel. Literally running about 80 miles an hour. I ran up on the tractor trailer about 4 o'clock in the morning, fell asleep on my way to visit a friend. Woke up, looked straight in the sky. The roof of the car was taken off, and they airlifted me to Orlando Regional Hospital, put me back together. About 3 days later, I found myself back in that big metropolis of Dunn, North Carolina, in the bedroom I grew up in with my mom putting my socks and shoes on my feet. I had broken this leg, pretty much lost everything, and started from scratch. I say that just to get to this point, but God always has a plan. And it was in the midst of all of that, moving back home to Dunn, that through a series of friends with my father, I was introduced to what would soon become a mentor of mine. A guy that was hosting these Friday morning trainings in a room pretty much like this. And he was an insurance agent, fairly successful in the city of Dunn. And I started going to those trainings. And it was in that setting, after, again, being raised, I felt in a loving home, going to church and hearing the word and all the biblical principles and ideas. But it was in that room that I began to understand that what I was chasing, what I was craving, was really a sense of purpose, was really a sense of how do I take the gifts and talents that God's blessed me with and go and deliver those to the marketplace in service to other people. Because at that point, it was all about me, right? I would go to work hard, make my little bit of money. Friday nights, I would cash the check, enjoy the weekend. Somewhere about Tuesday, I was broke and waiting on the end of the week to get paid again. And that cycle just became pretty frustrating for me. And so in that classroom, in that training room, he began to say things like, Ryan, it's not what happens to you that determines your success. It's what you do with what happens to you. It's how you respond to what happens to you. How many of you know things happen to all of us, right? Bad things, unfortunate things, things that we wish didn't happen, happens to all of us. But it's how we respond to those things that really determine our future. And then he said something that just totally changed my thinking. It was the answer to the questions that I had been asking. He said that, Ryan, success, this thing that you've been pursuing all of your life, well, your adult life, he said success isn't something that you pursue, right? Success is something that you attract by the person you become, right? So what he was basically saying was, you're not attractive, and success is running away from you instead of towards you. And he said, if you will become a person of value, If you'll pursue excellence instead, how can you go out and become a problem solver? Be a person of value in the community. Raise your level of problem solving and your emotional intelligence. Become a person that when you walk in the room, people smile instead of look the other way. Right? These skill sets that I believe are not just life skills, they are really essential skills necessary for success. And at that point, I'm 27 years old. I have a high school diploma, college degree, but I had never read a book. Y'all say, well, how did you do that? Well, I don't recommend that journey. But shortly after that, a friend of mine handed me a book called Rich Dad, Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki, and it just sent me on this journey. And I'm here where I am today. And where is that? Leading an organization called Triangle Entrepreneurial Leadership. We'll be celebrating our 10-year anniversary next year. Well, probably do it in 26. And that journey has allowed me to, in some way, shape, form, or fashion, touch, impact the lives of hundreds, maybe even thousands of people by now. And why is that? It's because I've taken the focus off of myself and figured out how I can go out and serve other people. And that's not always easy. But I do believe it is the way that God designed it. And so through that journey, I want to share a few things with you. Anybody remember this thing called the pandemic? Yeah. In the midst of the pandemic, we all had our experience, and God bless us all who may have lost someone, who experienced things ourselves, had traumatic experiences ourselves. But if we're on the other side of this thing, be grateful, right? But in the midst of that, I began to sit around one day, and actually I was out for a walk, and I began to think of all the people who, as a result of COVID, who were just kind of sitting tight, who were kind of sheltered in place, who never really picked their head back up and said, all right, let me get back after life again. Does anybody know anybody like that? Who just, I won't say they gave up on life, but they stopped pursuing the thing that they may have been pursuing. They just got comfortable. Right. Can we just say it like that? Yes. And so something came to me, and I said, wow, that's pretty incredible. And what came to me was this idea of getting serious. What in your life do you need to get serious about? When you look back over your life, think things over. We know God's been good to us. He's been gracious to us.
And you got a what? A testimony.
A testimony. But at some point in our life, we have to decide it's time to get serious.
Yes.
No longer can we sit sidelined and point the finger and blame others for wherever we've arrived at life. Right. Now, if your life is all happy-go-lucky and you got all the domains in your life buttoned up to a T, please, I will sit down and you come teach the rest of this workshop. But if you're sitting there tonight and you're wondering, you know what, wow, maybe there is somewhere in my life that I need to get serious, that I've just been relaxing, that I've just kind of sheltered in place, that I've said, well, it'll be all right, it'll be okay. How many of you know it just won't be all right?
That's right.
It won't just be okay. They tell me that a tree is either growing or it's dying. There is no safe place where you just arrive and the tree it needs no more water or it needs no more sunlight. When it loses its ability to attract to itself the nutrients necessary for growth, it will begin to die. And we, like nature, are much the same. And if we've stopped our pursuit, I got the attention, it got quiet. If we've stopped our pursuit in an area of our life, I submit to you that area of your life is dying. So after having that conversation and going through my journey, I launched a model, and that model is called Get Serious. And why do we need to get serious? Because life is serious. How many of you agree with that? Life is serious. And if COVID told us nothing else, it taught us that life is serious. Life is short. We don't have forever. If you're a reader or research, I'll give you a book real quick. This puts things into perspective a little bit. It's called 4,000 Weeks. 4,000 weeks, if we get those 70 and 10, right? 4,000 weeks is somewhere around 80 years old. Any mathematicians in the room? So if you're 40, oh boy, how many weeks you got left? About. Now we're living above 80 these days. Praise the Lord. He's going to extend the runway for us. But let's play the game, right? If you're 40, you're halfway there. Based on that, you got 2,000 weeks. That's all right, bro. But hey, the banker pulled out the calculator. You got about 2,000 weeks. If you're 60, got about 1,000 weeks. So it's time to what? It's time, all the things that we've been saying we'll get around to. All the things we've been saying, I'll get to it when. There's never going to be perfect conditions to do anything. You've never said, oh yeah, all the boxes are checked. Now let me go. That's not how it happens. We either do it because we're pushed in a direction or because we're being pulled in a direction. We do it because something is calling us or because we're what? Running from it. Right? It's never just sunshiny, great conditions that we say, yeah, today's the day. Right? Let me go do it.
Yeah. One of the things that I've often used as a mantra is someday is not a strategy. That someday. Yeah. Because we put it off thinking that's one day.
Yeah.
And it plays into what you're saying. One day when conditions are favorable, all aligned or favorable.
Yeah.
Yes. So someday is just not a strategy.
Absolutely.
You need a strategy, but someday is not it.
It's not it. You know, I love the Alice in Wonderland quote. I didn't know that's where it was from, but I use the quote all the time. You're right. If you don't know where you're going, any road will get you there. Right? And how many of us set goals? Hands high if you set goals. Keep your hands high if you have a deadline attached to that goal. Okay. Because if you don't have a deadline, guess what it is? It's a dream. It's a dream that you hope one day happens. But it doesn't become a goal until you give yourself a timeline. Because that's when we react. When I was in college, you know what I did in my term paper? I knew at the beginning of the school year when it was due. But you know what I did? The night before. I stayed up all night long to get why? Because there was a deadline. Well, the thing about life is, we don't know when that term paper is due. We don't know the deadline. So it is time to get serious. Do you have a reason to get serious? Think about that for a second. Write down one reason why you should get serious tonight. Because here's the thing. You don't need one. You can have a million reasons why not to do something. You only need one to do it. What do you need to get serious about? So when I decided to get serious about getting serious, I called my good friend, Mr. George Frazier. If you don't know him, Google him, look him up. He runs the largest networking conference for black people. It's actually coming up this next month in July in Charlotte, and he came in April and launched this thing for me. And I told him the vision and what we were going to be talking, what the idea of getting serious was. And when he got there, he simply asked 3 questions, which I want to give you an opportunity to ponder for just a second. Because if you don't know the answer to these questions, if you haven't explored these questions, then I'd ask, how serious are you? And even more so, what are you serious about? Because how many of you know that you are put here for a reason, for a purpose? Do you really know who you are? A lot of times when I speak, you know, my goal when I speak, when I have the opportunity to speak, is that you go home at night and can't sleep.
That's right.
I hope somebody calls me tomorrow and be like, I can't stand you because I could not sleep last night. And I only say that because it's that serious. It is that there's a generation on the other side of this window, on the other side of these walls, that is counting on you, counting on me, to give them hope, to show them that it's possible, to help pave the way for them. And I'm concerned that if this generation doesn't get serious, I'll let you finish that statement. So that'd be a little bit of homework for you. But the third question that he asked is really the question that I'm asking you. Are you really all that you're capable of being? And I don't say that to condemn you at all. I say that hopefully to inspire you. Because look where you are today. And you've left so much on the table. Look where you are today. And there's still a lot of meat on that bone. Look where you are today. And you probably just been playing with it. What could you accomplish? What will you accomplish when you get serious? So I'll ask, if you're tired of living a defeated life, because how many of you know we don't have to? We don't have to live a defeated life. If I was in church, I'd preach for about 20 seconds.
I want you to go put your
I would preach about 20. I would put my hand right there for about 20 seconds. We don't have to live a defeated life. If you're tired of living a defeated life, then it's time to get serious. If you've lost your sense of purpose, or maybe you never discovered it, but wherever you are, then it's time to, because it's there. It is inside of you. We just have to slow down enough and let that be discovered. If somehow, man, I've gotten off track and good health just seems to be out of reach for me, then it's time to get serious. Because the answers are there. The answers are here. If you just can't seem to get a handle on your finances, anybody ever get to the end of the month and say, just where did it all go? Right? So somehow there's more month at the end of the money. Right? Then it's just time to get serious. Right? It's not impossible. If I had time to tell you my story from whence I've come, I'd give you hope. If you've just never had a vision for your life, I'd need about 2 minutes to preach on that one. Because without a vision, people perish. And if you look at that word perish, it is a slow, horrible process that eventually results in death. And if that don't light your fire, your wood's wet. Okay? Because nobody wants to perish. But without vision, we are. You know, real quick story. My parents just celebrated 50 years of marriage, May 19th. I didn't say that for your applause. There was many days I put in a Facebook message. I said, "It was starting to look like y'all gonna make it." So there were some times where I thought I was gonna have to choose who I was going to live with. You know what I mean? And so I asked my mom one day. I said, "You know, Mom, if there was one thing you could do different, you know, when you and Pop got married, what would it be?" She said, "You know, Ryan, we never had a vision for our life." And they did all right, right? But they left a lot of meat on the bone because they didn't have vision when they got that thing started. So I challenge you, take the time, find that vision for your life. Maybe you've given up on your dreams. I promise you had one once upon a time. I have a 4-year-old and a 6-year-old at home. If I ask them right now what you want to be, it just rolls off their tongue.
Yeah, that's one of the things, examples I always use is that you ask a 5-year-old what they want to be, they'll give you 25 different things.
Just rolls off, yeah.
But if you take that same child when they're 15 and you say, what do you want to do when you graduate, when you get out of school? I don't know. I just, because in between life happens and it beats up on us.
Yes.
And so all of those dreams, you know, all that list of things that I want to be a fireman, I want to be an astronaut, a police officer, you know, president. But by the time, you know, you get a few years on you, it's like all of that's diminished.
It has.
What
Anybody?
I've noticed personally is even while you're going through all of this, I've been feeling such a pull in my own spirit concerning discipline. And it's been, I'm just gonna go there because
Please, no, come on.
It's been something that I feel like God has been like pushing me on about, and even when you were saying, you know, am I all that I'm capable of being? You know, and who am I? I'm such a Bible girl that when I see questions like that, it's like, who am I? I'm created in the image of God. I am a child of God. That's the kind of stuff that goes through my head. Why do I exist? To love the Lord and glorify Him forever. I think like my mind goes to that, and then I'm like, okay. And then I think, well, why do you exist? It's like God has been speaking your whole life about what you're supposed to be doing. So Moses, what's in your hand? You know, that's how I think.
Yes.
And so I have always been a teacher. I've always taught. So no matter what I do, I still put like educator at the end of what I'm doing. I'm in sales, but I'm an educator. So, you know, with that being said, like purpose, there'll always be meat on the bones until there's some discipline in place.
Right.
And so back to that point, that's something that hits me hard that I always think about.
Yeah.
That if I want to get to these goals, I've got to get some levels of discipline up.
Yeah, that's the hack. 100%. Yes, ma'am. I knew you weren't gonna sit there too much longer.
I tried.
No, let's go. This is a conversation.
He knows me too
This is,
well.
this is a conversation.
What you just said reminds me of something God said to me when He told me to rest at the end of 2020 in COVID. I said, I kept saying, be still and know that I'm God. He said, you already know that. I said, be still. I said, and you know that. He said, be. I don't know what be looks like. But to Ryan's point and to yours, we know the Bible parts. Yes, we're still evolving. But God is saying to us, now next, because you already know that part. Now next, which is what Ryan is talking about. Now next, you already know I am wonderfully and fearfully made.
That's right.
But what's the next step after that? And how do you get there?
That's good.
Yeah, we
And get serious with
we're
that part.
deeply entrenched
Right.
in the biblical principle.
Yes.
Right.
But we're, and not talking about you, but I'm saying
Just
in general,
right.
where we as Christians, men, women, Christians, where we fall short is in the application.
Yes.
That's right.
James said, don't just be a hearer of the word, be a
Be a
doer
doer
of the word, but somebody's gotta show us how to do that.
Right.
And as a matter of fact, that's one of the projects that I am now undertaking, because it is so impactful to me that we know, yes, we know that I am made in the image of God. You know, I'll just use for an example. God says that we should be good stewards of our money. But Adrian, how do I do that? How do I manage my money effectively?
Yeah.
He says, husbands, love your wives, wives submit to your husband. How do I do that? Your parents, you know, the many years, how they evolved into where they are today. They learn the process. So you have the biblical principle that tells you know what the Bible says we ought to do, but it's in the doing.
That's right.
The devil is in the details. That's
Right.
why so much. There's so much chaos, because we know what the Bible. I know the principle,
Right.
but it's in the application, the execution is the word that she used. So that's where many times that's where we fall short.
Yes.
Is in knowing how to go about it, how to execute, how to be successful at it.
And what he's been dealing with me on, I didn't tell y'all, but I'm definitely a preacher, is, especially this week, and the people I'm dealing with, he said that we get so caught up in the biblical principles. He's been dealing with me, but Lisa, you need to go beyond the pulpit.
Right.
He said, we'll tell somebody that there's greater, but we never tell them how.
Yeah, exactly.
We never tell them how,
Yeah.
and so that is a definitely important part, because I had a young lady come up to me and she said, I don't want another person to prophesy to me or another person to tell me this, because when they tell me that, I think it's gonna be instant, but they never told me it was a waiting, they never told me it was a process. And she was like, Apostle, it's just too much going on. She said, but I like the fact that after you tell us something, we come to you, you always tell us how. You tell us the process. You don't just tell us that, or when somebody tell us something, you always say, I went to see you this afternoon, or I call them and I say, yeah, they forgot to tell you the process. Because I don't never want you to be set up for failure, like I was set up for failure. Because you would tell me, I'm gonna get there, but you didn't tell me how. And when it don't come, I think God lied, I think you lied, and I think everybody else lied.
And we don't tell our story, because we're ashamed of our story.
That's right.
But as Ryan said, and I keep going to Ryan and I know each other. I mean, we was all in this group every Monday night where we met and we focused on our business, and this was when Mr. Dudley was alive, when Dr. Dudley was alive, and Mr. Frazier was his friend, and they came in and they taught us this on Monday nights, or Zoomed it. And they told their story, the good, the bad, and the ugly, and that's where we fail a lot of people, is we don't tell the bad, we quick to tell the good, so we leave out the struggle that comes with owning a business. We leave out the struggle of, I might have had my car repossessed. Yeah, I had my car repossessed of 24 years of owning a business, so I know what it feels like. So it ain't gonna be pretty, but we gotta learn the principles too to get us to that next level. I'm gonna stop.
Don't stop. I mean, he said it in the prayer, right? Thy will be done
Yes.
in heaven as it is on earth. And my mom used to say something to me early in my journey. She said, Ryan, don't be so
Heavenly mind and no earthly good. That one.
Yeah, it's one thing to think kingdom. We're not of this world, but we're certainly in it.
Right.
So to think that we just get to skate along, kick rocks, and everything's just gonna work. Now you probably got a seat in heaven, right? But the challenge with that is everybody want to go, but nobody wants to. But since you're gonna be here, you might as well get serious about the journey. Yes, ma'am.
Well, I was gonna say like, all I was little, I'm like the last of the 8 of us. And I've always thought my dad had a vision for the family.
Awesome.
And I saw it played out. Everybody else had to go through the process and do it, but I actually saw it done.
Yes.
And what he did was, he left from here, went to New Jersey. My brothers were musicians, so he was the manager of them. So they went like all around, like Australia, New Zealand, like all over the United States, everywhere, playing music. And those are the skills that he made sure my brothers had, and they use those today. My brothers are like 60, 70, like that.
Wow.
They still play music. And for us, he made sure that, they were educated. They went to college, Berkeley, all that. So he made sure all this stuff was done.
Yeah.
Then he started purchasing houses here.
Come on.
We were still in New Jersey. He bought the houses here. He made sure that they were already set up by the time they got here, and they sold the house in New Jersey, came down. We were all grown. They waited till I was finished school, everything. Next thing you know, we leaving. Y'all want the house up here? And with that, he showed me.
Yes.
You better see something.
Yeah.
You better see something, because he saw it.
Yeah.
And my mother followed with it,
Yeah.
because she had to stay home. She could, she had to be with us. 8 kids is a lot. And, with that, she followed through. She still went to school.
Yeah.
She did what she could do. We had a brother, one of my brothers was, paralyzed, and, he was cerebral palsy. And that was, because they were in an accident when I was like 1.
Okay.
So only thing I remember is my brother being in a wheelchair. So, and that seemed to almost kill the vision, but my father kept going. So, it was, and he had broken his ribs, like all my brothers were injured, it was crazy. And so I grew up in that, and my mother watching her take care of my brothers, and this was before, like, as I was little. So, but he still did it.
Yeah.
And then when we got down here, he lived for, I think, like maybe 15 more years. And then he passed away. But what he left my mother, 5, 6 houses.
Wow.
She's fine.
Right.
And it showed us do that same thing.
Yeah.
And every single one of us, are going in that
That's
path,
great.
because he showed us entrepreneurship. And as a black man coming from North Carolina, going to New Jersey, still a whole lot of racial stuff going on. He still pursued what was in his heart.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right.
So it's amazing, and so you just talked is definitely to me.
Yeah. Without that vision, that accident probably would have sunk the ship, right?
Yeah.
It was the vision.
Yeah.
He had his eyes. He knew where he was going, right? And when you know where you're going, like how many of you ever like, this is the power of vision. This is hard to imagine tonight, but go with me here. Imagine tonight, before we leave here, this has actually happened to me. Imagine when we get ready to leave here tonight, just a flood just comes, right? And it just, and next thing you know, DOT is out and they're putting up road signs, right? Because roads are swamped and you can't cross them, right? And you decide, I'm going home, right? And you get up to one intersection and they got the roads blocked, and do you get to that roadblock and say, well, guess I can't go home? Is that what you do?
No.
What do you do?
You find an alternate route.
Because you what? You're going home. That's the power of a vision.
Yeah.
Without a vision, you just ride around wondering, okay, where am I going from here? But when you have a vision, there's not an obstacle that can stand in your way. You're going to figure out how to go around and go over it, knock it down, go through it. If you do have to back up, you're going to find another way. But when we don't have that vision locked into where we're going, it's hard to stay focused. Anything can distract us. As entrepreneurs, we have that shiny object syndrome. Well, that's because of lack of vision. Everything looks good when you don't really know what you're locked in on, right? And so that's the power of a vision. And we need to take the time to establish that. And God will give it to you, right? But he needs to know that you're looking for it, that you want it. So thank you for yes.
I also want to add to that too, because I feel like that's what God's been work on me about. I tried to start my business 3 times, 3 different times. The first 2 times, no vision. I just was like, this is what I want to do.
Yep.
I want to do.
Yep.
And then I was like, okay, then what happened? And nothing really happened. And so, like this last time, like it's been a very long process. Like God actually asked me, like, who are you? Who did I create you? Not just these scriptures, but like the unique qualities about Parisian.
Yes.
Like those are the things that you need to know so that you can operate in this business. What does it look like for me to just be me? Be comfortable being me. I think coming from, I'm an only child, and I spend a lot of time alone, and so a lot of times I naturally think, is this just happening to me? Is this just me? Like, what's the people doing? Because what's going on? And I was like, you won't know if you stay just with me.
That's
You know what I mean? And so, like, everything you're saying is like, Girl, you was telling him my business.
Me and Guy got like that.
And so, like you were saying, it's very important to have that vision. And once I got it, like I was able to actually start making progress. Like I'm seeing things come to pass, and you just hit the nail on the head.
Thank you for sharing that. Thank you for
My
sharing
dad always says, as long as you got gas and a couple of dollars,
Yeah.
you ain't never lost.
That's right.
That's right.
You sightsee. You just sightsee. I'm like, okay.
There you go. Right. I said I got a couple of gas and a couple of dollars.
Gas
right?
and a couple of dollars. Sightsee.
I love it. I love it. So again, I thought I was gonna leave this, didn't I? What do you point to yourself and say, what do I
What I
need to get serious about?
need to get serious about.
So I asked you earlier to tell the reason. Now I'm asking you, what is it? What is the thing that you need to get serious about? Thank you for coming here. Good to see
Love
you.
you.
Love you. What is that thing you need to get serious?
Get everything he tells you. You're gonna need it. And make sure you get his number. There's a whole nother series that he hasn't told you about
Yeah,
yet.
yeah, yeah. We got some stuff in the bag. We got some stuff in the bag. Thank you, Carnella. Yeah, what do you need to get serious about? I guess it's your finances. Is it your health? What is it, the thing that left undone? It just won't be okay. You know, and here's the thing. And this was my journey after the pursuit of stuff, right?
Yeah.
What I don't want to do is get down to the end of my road, right? God is good, it spares me, let's call it, let's just stay with 80, right? 85, 90, whatever it is. What I don't want to do is get down there and look back and say, man, I wish I would have. I want to get down there and say, I'm so glad
Yeah.
I did. Because here's the thing about it. It's always worth it.
Yeah.
And I say that because it's also not easy. So I'm not asking you to start a journey that's just going to be a cakewalk. I don't want to mislead you there now. Getting serious won't be easy. There'll be some hurdles. The enemy will say, oh man, they finally got it. Now he gonna go to work. So it won't be easy. But if you keep fighting and you push through and you get on the other side of that hill, will it be worth it?
Yes.
Nobody's ever got up at 5 o'clock in the morning and got a great start to their day and they went to bed and said, man, I sure wish I hadn't got up. Right? That's not, nobody does what they're supposed to do. Nobody has the discipline and then says, man, I wish I hadn't have done the thing I was supposed to do. It's always worth it. What do you need to get serious about? Is it living a victorious life? Now you to define that for yourself. What does a victorious life look like for you? How do you want to feel when you wake up in the morning? How do you want to feel when you lay down at night? How do you want to feel? Do you want to walk in the bank with your head down or walk in the bank with your head up? Right? Do you want to know that when you go to the doctor, you're just waiting on him to just sign off on it because everything is all right? Or you're going to go in there and say, oh boy, I don't know what that report's going to say today. Well, what does a victorious life look like for you? Is it living with a sense of purpose? Knowing every day that I'm getting up to go be about my Father's business, doing what He created me to do, impacting the lives that I was put here to impact, serving the people that I'm supposed to be serving. Is it good health? I think that's so important. Somewhere near the end of that book called the Bible in 3 John, he says, brethren, and I read the Bible literally. He says, I wish. Oh, you're going too fast. You're going too fast. Let's stay right there. He said, I wish above. So to me, that means over and above anything else in your life. These are what I want for you. That tells me that's pretty important. And so that's why when we start talking about scripture and kingdom, but then what's the application? Well, the application is now, okay, God, you want me to be in good health and prosper as my. See, we got the soul prosper part down pretty good.
We run on that.
We run on that, right? Oh, we going to heaven. We got that buttoned up, right? But then he says, well, while you're doing that, you know what I want most for you? Well, why does he want that for us? Because guess what? Without health and a couple of dollars, you can't live your life on purpose. I'm sorry. That is not the way. Not in America. Not in a capitalistic society, you can't. So he wants us to be healthy and to prosper so that we can do the work that he's called us to do. And if you sign up for that application, I believe he'll get in the game with you. Financial prosperity, I already mentioned it. Do you need to get serious about perishing due to the lack of a vision? Then it's time to get serious. Ready to dream again, it's time to get serious. So, what do you really need to get serious about? So you might say, Ryan, oh, that's great. Tell me how. Here's the application. Okay. First, it begins with a discovery. Right? For me, it was there's got to be more to life than this. Right? There was a point in my life where I was like, you know what, this ain't it. Right? So I arrived at this point of discovery, this place of awareness, where I was just sick and tired of being sick and tired. Right? Where I just knew there was more to life than there was. Where I said, something's got to change.
And that's in my business. That's what I call the crossroads.
That's exactly that. I heard. I love that.
You're at the crossroads in life or career.
Yep.
It's got to be more. There's got to be something better. You know, I've been going around this mountain.
Yep.
Same mountain.
Yep.
And so that's the crossroads.
Exactly.
That point of discovery.
Yeah, that point of discovery. Yeah, I mean, it's a point of discontentment, right? Because what did I say earlier? If there's a thing in your life, what you won't get serious about is something that you're just okay with, right? Because what you're content with, you will not change, right? You know, one of the biggest lies ever told is when you see somebody in the grocery store on your way home tonight, you walk up to them and say, "How you doing?" And they say what? If you dig a little deeper, they're probably not fine. You dig a little deeper, you'll discover that there's probably some areas in their life where they're discontent, where they're sick and tired of the results that they're getting. So that's the first thing you got to do is have this awareness, this discovery, this self-awareness that, you know what, I'm not okay with this, okay? And then from there, now, okay, well, what does it look like? The questions I asked earlier. If it's living a defeated life, well, what does living a fulfilled life look like? Begin to think about, explore what's possible. What's possible in your finances? What's possible in your health? What's possible with the vision and a sense of purpose? And now begin to dream and explore and look out on the horizon and say, man, it would be great to walk in the bank with my head up. My wife got the bug to want to buy a house, and she said, all right, babe, I'm ready. You know, my son was, I think, 2 at that point, and just because of my financial mind, anyway, that's another story. I was like, okay, babe, you ready? All right, now I got to go do the work. Right now, notice I didn't say let me go in my prayer closet. I said let me go to work. I said because what I will not do is walk into a bank hoping that they approve me. I will not walk out of a bank with my head down. Right? If they don't approve me for the house, then there's going to be some further paperwork called discrimination. Because I will qualify before I walk I will be able to write the check. I will have the credit. I will have all the boxes checked. So I had to go to work. And you know, she had to be a little patient because it didn't happen in 2-3 days, right? And so I wanted to make sure that I had done my part and done the work. I wanted to walk in with my head high. So I had to explore what was possible. I would have probably been okay where we were. But baby had a dream, right? So I had to lock into that. So what are your desired results in those areas of your life? What are those outcomes? What are the things that you'd like to change? Right? And then from there, somebody's in real estate. Real estate. Tell me what's an appraisal?
Okay, appraisal is what the bank does. It's to see if the price that the home has been, is being sold for, if they agree with that price.
Yeah.
So you have to make sure that whatever the buyer is offering for the home and the seller agreed to, that the lender also agrees. If not, somebody's gonna either have to cough up money or it's a mess.
Yes.
Yes.
Absolutely. Thank you. So basically, you're assessing what the value of that home is in its current situation. It is in its current status, right? Whether the foundation's right or not, whether the roof's right or not, what is the value? So we have to now assess, okay, if this is where I am, this is where I'm going, it's like that GPS, right? The first thing the GPS asks you is what?
Where are you going?
Where are you going? What's the next question it asks you? Where are you now? Right? Because without those 2 points, it can't calculate how to get you there. So you first got to know where you are. And you got to take I had to take a real true assessment as to where I was when my wife wanted to buy a home. And notice I said my wife. My wife wanted to buy a home. I had to take a true assessment of where we were. And it wasn't a matter of what felt good, what was right, my emotions. It was real, because the bank don't care about how you feeling, right? And so, how you doing, sir? And so when you get into assessment, you've now entered into a process. You've now entered into a cycle because you've identified where you are, okay? And so then that next step is we begin to start planning. You gotta have a plan, okay? You gotta have a strategy. It don't happen by accident. You don't just stumble into a victorious life. You don't just stumble into good credit, whatever. You don't just stumble into good health. It requires some discipline. That's what the strategy is what do I need to do consistently over time that will get me some results, right? Am I right?
Oh,
in any area of your life. And that's why it's encouraging because it's possible. Now again, it won't be easy, but it will be worth it. Okay? And now when you have that plan where you're developing to get to, that becomes ongoing. I'm sure there's probably some developments going on in Wilson, right? And eventually it will be developed. But while it's in process, it is developing. It is a development. Okay? And so when you've assessed where you are, what you have to begin to do now is continue this process of assessing. Okay? So when you get down here, you say, okay, this is where I want to go. These are the results I want. Now I'm building myself. I'm reading the books. I'm taking the classes. I've hired my life coach. I'm working on my credit score. I'm doing all those things. Now you're developing your plan. And now you come back and assess your plan. Now, when you assess your plan, if it's getting you the results that you want, what do?
You stay with that.
You double down, right? You keep going. But if you assess your plan and it's not getting you what you want to do, what do you got to do? Yeah, you got to make some adjustments. Okay? And then you make those adjustments to your plan. You go back and do the work. Then you come back down here and assess again, make those changes, do what it is that you've got to do so that you can get the results that you want. So many times we get in a journey and we just keep going. Keep going, keep going. How many of you know if you keep doing what you've always done, you're going to keep getting what you've always got? Right? So if we want to really get serious about an area of our life, we got to really get serious about it. Right? And truly begin to take a true assessment of where you are make the necessary adjustments, work that plan. Take a look at that plan. Is that plan working? If it's not, when you take an assessment, adjust. And stay in that cycle until you begin to get the results of the plan that you want. I'm gonna pause there. Any questions, comments?
I was gonna say, that's really good. Essentially, that's kind of what I do in marketing, and I didn't think to apply it to larger life, right? Like, a lot of people come to me like, I just wanna go viral, and I'm like, viral is not like an overnight thing. It's like, you have to have a plan.
Yeah.
It's a strategy.
Yeah.
A lot of people that have gone viral have been posting way before your
Yes.
video got to
Yes.
their
Yes.
timeline.
Yeah.
And so, it's literally the same thing,
Yes.
essentially, but with life and goals.
Yeah. I mean, that's the challenge with social media, right? We see the end result, right? We don't see, as Carnella was saying, the process, the journey that people went through. But you've truly got to get into that. I remember when I first sat down and started doing this marketing, they were like, yeah, we got to do some A/B testing. I was like, I don't want to do all that. Can we just post?
Yeah, that's right.
Right? But there's a process,
Yeah, exactly.
right? And without taking an assessment of where I am, I got this amount of followers. These are the amount of followers I want. Let's get the posting, right? Check my algorithms and my outcomes and my results. All right, are we getting closer to it? No. All right, what adjustments do we need to make? Right? Let's go back and make those adjustments. Work the plan, check, and keep going. Right? Because what happens so many times is that we get in this vicious cycle, and we think, oh man, I'm working hard.
Yeah.
I'm busy. You can be busy running on a treadmill
Exactly, that's right.
and going nowhere.
On a rocking horse.
Yes.
You
Exactly.
moving, but you're not making any progress.
Looking at the same tree over and over again, right? Does this make sense?
Yeah, and I think part two of also what you're saying is embedded in what you're saying is don't fail to get the help that you need.
That's exactly where we're headed.
We can't
Yes.
do it all
Yes, no.
all the time by ourselves. And there's nothing wrong with it. As a matter of fact, we need marketing help. Marketing's not my forte. We need help in that area. We need, you may need a life coach for some accountability.
Yes.
Whatever it is that you need, all of those resources are out there.
Mhm.
Sometimes you're gonna have to pay a little something to get to
Yep.
be able to realize the
Yes.
return that you want.
Yeah.
But yeah, get the help. Get the help. Don't just beat your head against the wall. But this social media thing is just driving me crazy. I don't know what algorithms mean. I don't know how to interpret my analytics. Well, there's somebody out there that can help you with that. I mean, I've got a gimbal like that. I don't know how long I've had that thing, and I've just learned now how to stabilize my phone because he shows up with his gimbal and he showed me a trick or two. So now I can go home and apply
Yes.
that to my gimbal to see if it'll make it work. But yeah, don't hesitate to get the help that we need.
Yeah.
And there's lots of resources. I mean, and that's part of what Black Businesses of Wilson is about, bringing us together.
That's good.
So that we can know who we are, what resources we all possess, what strengths we have.
Yes.
And figure out how can we help, how can we be of service to each other. That was one of the things I wanted to mention earlier, as we were saying about staying focused and getting prepared and doing the work. I think as long as we keep the mindset of being of service,
Mhm.
when we think about what is our vision, what is our purpose, that when we're driven by somebody out there needs
Yes.
what we have.
Yes.
The work that they're doing with Waymakers, how they're serving the underserved in our community. You know that there's somebody out there who has a need for that. And even when things get, kind of skimpy, you're still driven by somebody out there needs this. And I think when each of us looks inwardly and sees what are my strengths, what do I have to offer, and realize that God designed it so that there's somebody out there you can serve. And when we're driven by that becomes a part of our vision, it keeps us going.
100%.
Yeah.
100%. No, that's so good. I mean, just to align with that, right? So, I mean, I'm up here teaching this workshop. I'm currently, and you probably would slap me on the hand for this, but I'm currently in 4 programs right now, coaching programs,
Okay.
right, around
Yeah.
different aspects of
Yeah.
either my life.
Sure.
There's one's for finances, one's for sales,
Sure.
one's for like AI and funnels
Yeah,
stuff
yeah.
for my financial literacy program, which is probably what Nella's talking about. And because I knew I was going in this cycle.
Yeah.
And I was like, no, I don't know how to do this stuff. And then they talking about AI, and I don't want to do that much reading and stuff. Like, who can teach me the hack, the shortcut to it? I don't have time to learn all that, right? I don't. You can make a Instagram post in 15 seconds. It'll take me my lunch hour, right?
Yeah.
So how do you go out and that's a whole nother lesson.
Yeah.
It's like how do you condense time, right? By finding the experts and the other people that you can bring around you to teach you the information. But I also say that to say, you know, I was one of my coaching programs. I was actually had it today. Is around sales, and you know he's helping us to kind of, you know, get to the product and you know the number of sales calls and all those things, which is great. And I told my wife after I was over it, I was like, man, every time I get focused on the bottom of the funnel, right, the product, the sale, the price, and all of that, I get so frustrated, right? And I said, but then when I look back up and say, okay, well, how can I go help people?
Yeah.
The phone starts ringing,
Yeah.
right? It's amazing.
Yeah.
Right? Now that's just me.
Yeah.
Right? And so, yes, it is all about how do you go out and deliver service? How do you solve somebody else's problem?
Yeah.
One of my mentors used to say, you solve enough of other people's problems, yours end up getting solved.
Yeah. Right.
You help other people get what they want, you're automatically going to end up getting what you want. Right? But as long as we focus, like, some of the worst decisions we've ever made in our lives were because we were focused on ourselves.
Yeah. Right.
Yes. I say it this way, what you want done in your life, do it in somebody
There
else's
you
life.
go.
You can't do it
There
in
you
your
go.
life.
100%.
Yes.
Every time he'll do it. It's a principle, right? It's a principle. Any other comments or questions?
I had started, well, yesterday, I was in a meeting, it was like this company called Trillium Nest here, and they had like this big marketing meeting where, you know, they wanted to introduce themselves to the community.
Mhm.
And so I went to the meeting and, you know, got all this information, and so something just like pulled on me and said, well, you know, just tell them about what you want to do.
Mm-hmm.
And so, you know, I told them, you know, what I wanted to do, which is actually, I'm gonna do it. That's just it, cause God is like pushing me. It's unbelievable. And, it's a mobile unit with nurses, going around the community in outreach. I'm doing it in my car. I'm doing everything already. I just don't have the unit, the mobile unit to do this. And I'll be able to still test for HIV, give immunizations, vaccines, talk to people, educate. If they need to go to the hospital or whatever, here I am. I can actually call 911, tell them this is where we are. We're not gonna be in one spot. We're all over in our units. So, and when I told them, and I gave them the amount, you know, they looked at me, you know, of course, but it definitely is a service that is needed in this community.
Yes.
And God put it in the heart of me, and it's another nurse that's with me, that we've been kind of playing around with stuff like for the last couple of years. And then here this comes in my mind, and it's because I had to sit quiet. I've been sick. I had cancer for like a year. I had to go through chemo and radiation. So he sat me down. And I was supposed to, like, I usually am a travel nurse, so I move around in the States to do my work. I promised myself, and God keeps saying, you're not going back to work. You can't go back in the building to do what you've been doing. You have something else to do. So I'm like, you know, every time I try to push the button to, you know, set up a travel assignment to go, I can't push the button. And that's crazy, because I'm like, and I sit there, I look at the computer and I try to do it, and then something just stops me. And I said, God, what are you doing to me? You know, and I don't even know what to do or how to do what I'm doing, but every time I turn around, and here's another set of people that I really need that comes to me to say, oh, this is what you need to do. And that's what happened to me at the meeting yesterday. You have to be set up as a provider. I don't know nothing about that. Next thing I know, she sent me everything in an email last night, 2 o'clock in the morning. I sat right there and I figured out how to set up myself as a provider. I said, one thing I have to do is be ready. Because whatever this is that's coming for me, That's it.
That's so good.
I
So
was in a
good.
meeting with me yesterday, and there's some
What you
points
did?
that you're gonna get to, that you're gonna need help with. I told you yesterday before you left, I said I needed to
You
see
sure did. So you heard me talking to these people, and I'm like, I just.
Cause I'm already a provider, and I was going to give you the shortcuts to go through.
At 2:00 in the morning last night, and I can't, and I've been unable to sleep for weeks, and I'm not tired. And I'm still doing my events, I'm still talking to people, I'm still making sure that, you know, the health part of what I'm doing, cause that's all I do, I want to make sure people get healthier. I've seen so many people, I have family that's sick, you know, all the things that I want positive for people is what I talk about. And if it's something that's not going on that's positive, then we're gonna talk about that too. Because somebody needs the encouragement to know that they can move, they can do these things. And that's why I'm here.
That's good. That's good. When you get serious, the doors will open.
That's right.
The doors will open up when you decide to get serious about that thing. That's what I had to share. That's what I had to share. Thank you.